raptors, his eyes brighten up. So when he knows that there, when he knows that there is a raptor in the Philippines that only about 100 pairs or so left, 100 to 200 pairs left, he has to go and see it before it disappears, isn't it? So tonight we're going to listen to Antia and a few friends who went to the Philippines to specifically look for this Philippine eagle, but in the same time he will also talk about other birds that he has seen. So without much ado, I shall call Antia to give his talk on the quest.
Thank you, Icon, for the introduction. Since I know most of you, so I don't have to give a self-introduction now. But I'd just like to begin by saying that the Philippines has always been a source of attraction to me in terms of birding. But for 10 years, I have postponed making a trip simply because we keep on hearing about, you know, the, what do you call that, Abu Sayyaf people. So I postponed it, and it was only until last year that we met our friend Alex Tiongku at Chunpon, and he told me, he more or less assured me, you come to Mindanao, you will come back in one piece, you see. Yeah, one piece, like it. So it was in June 2011 that about 4 or 5 of us, myself, Lee Unteg was there, my wife, Ronald Yu, and Len Sim, 5 of us. We organized this trip more or less with a considerable degree of help in organizing from Adrian. You will see Adrian afterwards. So it was 12 days, beginning from 6th of June, and we came back on the 17th. What I propose to do is give you an overview. First of all, an overview of the geographic aspects of Philippines. Because I believe that when we bird in the Philippines, you cannot avoid not knowing a little bit about the geographic distribution, the features of the Philippine archipelago, without coming to getting a better idea of the birds there. Simply because of the what people call the zoo-geographical distribution and pattern of plants, birds, and animals. The zoo-geographical distribution or pattern is very much influenced by the geographical location of the Philippines, because it lies somewhere in the middle between the Southeast Asian mainland on the one hand, and on the other hand is the Australasian Papuan region. And you will find that the birds and animals and plant species of these two regions are somewhat distinct, as drawn by an imaginary line called the Wallace's line. The Wallace's line cuts through the Lombok region, the Lombok Straits, between Bali and Timor, and it just crosses across the Borneo Island, the southeastern coast of Borneo, and then it goes all the way to north. So these two regions. So I like to start out by saying that the Philippines has got 7,000 islands throughout the archipelago, all scattered over an area of 3.2 million square miles. So, okay. I have more or less covered earlier just now the 12 days. We spent 4 days in Luzon, the northernmost island. 7 days, and that's why we had 7 days, because our main interest was to look at the Philippine eagle and other raptors. And then more or less a last day spent in transit before we flew back to KL. Coming back to geographical aspects of the Philippines, Luzon Island and the Visayas and Mindanao, this one, they are the three largest islands within the 7,000 island complex. And what we had to do was fly from Kuala Lumpur, Asia, to Clark Abyss. And then, after spending 4 days in Luzon and Manila region, we took a Philippine airline straight down to Cagayan de Oro, a small airport. And from there, we took road transport, vans, and 4-wheel pickup to go up Mount Kitanglak. That is the place where you have the highest opportunity of seeing the Philippine Eagle. Although it's found here as well, the distribution, here as well, and Mindanao. Most of the people have gone in search of this raptor, have found greater success in Mount Kitanglak. So Davao is the biggest capital, and throughout all the archipelago, you have a series of mountain tops, most of them well over 2,000, and some of them are still active volcanoes. For example, the Pinabuto. We have heard about the eruption. Well, just now I mentioned about the Wallace's line. Wallace's line just happens to cover up. It doesn't quite stretch up to the Philippine archipelago. But what I'd like to point out is that the location, the geographical location of the archipelago allows it to have a mixture of the Southeast Asian mainland bird species as well as those coming from the Australasian region. So in the course of the next 20 or 30 minutes, I'll show you some of the birds that are endemic, as well as they have also some characteristic features of the birds both from Asian mainland as well as Papuan area. Hi Ronald. Yeah, Ronald, I mentioned, was one of our members there when you meet. And from what I saw in bird life literature, I picked up, scientists in the year 2000, scientists have identified 172 endemic species confined within the archipelago of the Philippines, out of a total of 572 species. That is 35, that comes to 30% more or less. So 172 endemic species out of a total of 572 in the checklist of the Philippines. So it's about 30%. And this is comparable to that well-known Wallacea region. The Wallacea region is, you know, the Sulawesi, the Lesser Sunda. That amongst birders also features very high in terms of endemism. The high degree of endemism of birds and plants in Wallacea comes up to 35%. So you can see that the Philippines, if you make a trip to the Philippines, you will not be disappointed, as we were not, as I will show you. This is the red crested Markova. Look at him. Apple green, somewhat apple green, like our green-bill Markova. But he's got this unique eye skin and very sharp crest. Got sharp crimson crest. Almost all black, plumage all round. By the way, these photographs are all not taken, but I just picked them up from the images. Because as you know, I don't carry any camera except a cheap pocket size. Although I will share with you, I did manage to get one photo. And that's the only one of the Philippine Eagle. The rest are taken or stolen from the website all over the internet. So please bear with me. You see, all these things are not.
We were not exposed to.
Not my handiwork at all. So endemism. Well, this is endemic, but all these are going to be shown are endemics. And you notice that. Don't you think that it's a bit like our what do you call the green-bill Markova in terms of size, except that he has got that distinctive red crest, and we saw it, huh?
Yeah, what is the significance of endemism? That 30%, you keep saying endemism.
Yeah.
Does it mean what was the significance anyway?
Well, well, I think in endemism, in terms of zoology, endemic birds of species, we refer to the fact that that particular species is confined to only a very restricted area.
So, in broad terms, what does it signify? Does it mean that the area is not exposed to other birds or what?
Yeah. From what I understand, endemism, high degree of endemism, partially comes as a result of geographical isolation in terms of the environment. And I forgot to mention that during the Quaternary period, millions of years ago, there's a period, the Quaternary period, when fluctuating sea level rose, subsided, rose. And during the period when the sea level was very low, Asian mainland birds, Papuan birds, went there because they make use of land bridges through the archipelago. They stayed there in the Philippines and also in the Sulawesi area. But eventually, when the next round of high sea level came up, many of these birds were stranded in the small pockets of islands. They moved up to higher mountains. So because of maybe millions of years evolution, they become endemic. So that 35% is very high. What is Malaysia's endemism? I think very low, maybe 6%, or even lower than 6%.
Point
lower,
point something.
Yeah, I haven't done anything about Malaysia. 0.4 only. You see, this 30%.